Hi, I'm Jami Philbrick for IamRoad.com. I'm here in Arizona speaking with director Andrew Stanton about his new film, John Carter. The film, of course, is based on the popular book by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I had a chance to talk to the director about making the movie, his passion for the project, and bringing it to life. Here's what Andrew Stanton had to say about John Carter. So I wanted to begin by asking you, I love this movie, and there's one thing I loved about it.
Yeah.
It's the first film in, I think, motion picture history where the title actually is different at the end of the movie.
I don't know if that's true.
Than it was at the beginning.
I hope that's true.
I can't think of another film that did that.
I thought, because of the title change, because of concern about people being attracted on the first impression, I made an agreement, like, look, as long as you let me evolve the title, because that is the story of the movie, I don't mind that. It kind of actually works with the narrative. And I kind of think that's exciting. It's almost like you've earned the title at the end. And I think it will take any concern off of people thinking that that's a bad title. So, I mean, it's a bit of a spoiler. Hopefully not everybody's going to know that's going to happen, because I think it's a nice little touch surprise at the end.
Well, I think it's a brilliant move, and in going into possible sequels, would it be John Carter from Mars 2 and
that was
kind of
part
thing?
of the rub, and this is very technical, but like all the books have of Mars in it, all in their titles. Something of Mars, something of Mars. And I thought, you got to get there. So you got to earn the title somehow. So that made sense to me, that at least if there is another one, then you associate it now with that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there anything else with the story? Because it's such an intricate story that Burroughs wrote. Is there anything specific that the studio or anyone wanted you to change? Like maybe the Civil War stuff. Was there any movement to say, let's set it in present day and have him travel?
No, believe it or not, I think the property was so not on their radar, and they had not ever considered or thought much about it. I didn't realize how much influence I had at the time. So when I was sort of insistent that they should make it, and then I just started writing it, they just were sort of waiting to see what I would come up with. And it was really Mark Andrews and I and Michael Chabon that presented them the script that represents what you see on the screen. And I think just privately we had dealt with whatever we thought were concerns about it. But I think it's a little bit of a mislead to think that you have to make things current or make things present day or any of that kind of stuff. The truth is, I can watch any movie from any time, and if it's really good, I'll get engaged in it. It's just all about how good is the story and how attractive is it, and while you're watching it. And I think that that's not exclusive to now. And so we said, look, if I could read the book when I was 11 and it was already a 60-year-old book, then it should be able to still work now and when I make it a movie. What's the difference between 60 years to 100 years? So we just went to the source material and just stuck with what we felt was these timeless aspects of the book.
Yeah, the Civil War stuff plays really well in the film. So I know that this was a property, a book that you loved as a child, and I'm sure as a child you imagined what the theatrical film would be like.
Yeah.
Casting Taylor, casting John Carter, so important.
Yes.
Tell me, what was it about him that lived up to that childhood imagination of who John Carter would be?
Well, it's funny. He looked to me, from the minute I saw him in Friday Night Lights, what I thought Carter would look like. But he always seemed too young to me. And it took for me to realize, as I was getting more serious about casting, he was always on the list, that I had the problem of he looked too young because I was in my 40s and everybody looks too young to me. And when I finally looked back and I realized Sean Connery was 29 on Dr. No, Harrison Ford was 31 on Star Wars, Christopher Lambert was 27 on Highlander. The late 20s, early 30s is the sweet spot for these kind of iconic heroes. And so I realized he was right in the sweet spot. So I had to just get past my ageism.
Yeah, well, he's perfect to the film. And finally, ideas for sequels if it goes there?
Always planned the first 3 books together. So the trilogy has been planned all along. There is a worthy sequel and a worthy third that we can go to if it all works out for us. And we're excited. We're working on it in case we get the go.
Great.
So we hope it does.
John Carter. In theaters and IMAX 3D March 9th.